Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have the buffed Nocturne with a second knocked off of his passive and of course the attack speed ratio increase. Now people would say, well, that doesn't look like a very big buff. My friends, it's a 7.93% buff. That's substantial. Even when they nerfed and buffed Graves like 5% of his AD, it had a drastic effect on the champion's balance state. Why? Because that affects every auto attack and every spell that you have. With Nocturne, same thing. Every stack of Conqueror you have, every atomization spike you buy will benefit from that attack speed growth buff. Ruined on your screen now, standard Conqueror stuff. Remember, the Conqueror stacks, the Stride Breaker, if you bought Black Cleaver, Axiom Arc. Ultimate Under is going to be hugely useful, and every single auto attack you use with those ADs will have a visceral effect for you in your dueling, because we don't really want them to only be an ult bot, do we? And we do have a misfortune in this game, although she was hotfixed, so that buff isn't as OP. Nocturne will have to do the work this game. And remember, all the Zada GG guys were just freshly updated with Udyr, Kindred, Fiddlesticks, as well as Evelyn. Nocturne will be coming in the next batch or two. We're going to try and cover every single champion with these live guides. Basically, just my jungling philosophies interactively provided to you in-game and adapted for your champion with the best routes, items, and build sets. Now, of course, Nocturne starting on the red, we are against a Yarvin. Too much concern over his importance in the meta. I don't think really most of us are thinking about him at all, and his annoying voice. But in a mobile bot lane, should expect some sort of pressure. Nocturne, in the meantime, will have to obviously do his full clear, look for that 5 camp cut-in if necessary. It's the biggest thing if you're farming jungle or 5 camp. If you are done with 4 camps, you have a buff available, please think deeply about potentially cutting that clear short if you can rotate to these things. Now, obviously not in this situation, but I mean, like, if he's on blue and you see the Jarvan come, maybe you can rotate and infect this and fall back to your blue and grump as well as the crab. So we're keeping our eyes on the lanes while we full clear. Shouldn't really be that important to think too much about it, but the 1 second benefit onto Umbra Blades here, not Umbra Glaives, Umbra Blades, is important. So the Jarvan, look at this, we can see this on the map here. You know, this is huge, because basically you'll know at 254, 53 with that much HP missing, the dude has done blue-red Krugs, which is absolutely disgustingly horrific. You might as well go blue Gromp into the red and then just gank bot lane. You might as well just do a 4 camp blue side red into the bot lane gank. But obviously with the double range prio here, he's going to look for this pressure, and Nocturne here cuts short his clear, just like I said, to have a look to see if he can do anything about this. But at the same time, if they're just pushing up for prio on crab, snack the crab very, very quickly to get out of the, ooh, nicely done, looks, and just, you know, snack it and get out if it looks like it's a bit doomed. But the Nocturne here doing his thing, standard stuff, and the Jarvan doing something that's making me feel a little nauseous, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit disgusted watching a blue-red Krugs as a Jarvan taking 25 years to do it, when you could have just done the Gromp, gotten that edge camp reset, done it much faster, and maybe impacted their bottom lane through a more intelligent route. You know, if you go red and come down this way and you see the Lux move up toward this, then obviously you can move on down and gank it, you know, but because they don't think about those things, sometimes especially, ganking junglers, your ganking pathways are not that great, you end up in a precarious situation. And here we go, terrible pathing, oh my goodness gracious me. He's obviously going to shadow this gank here, gets the flash EQ, that is nice, but he's tanking now minions. He's tanking minions! This is deplorable jungling. So we have good jungling from the Nocturne, and absolutely clown fiesta time for the Nocturne, for the Jarvan. Excellent Q flash, very, very late, but you're tanking these caster minions and the siege minion, which does, you know, like 24 and 42 scaling with each upgrade that they have from rank 1. You know, the melee stayed at 12 damage for the first 5 upgrades, so there's not a lot of damage to be taken as the waves increase from that perspective, but the ranged minions plus the siege minions, they do increasing damage. That's a lot of damage he would have just taken from ganking within that wave. Nocturne resets, gets himself a pickaxe, knows that the Camille's not in lane, so he does Krugs first, waits for it to get into this wave state here, hits his Q, can go with the fear to flash through with the hook shot there, which is actually beautiful. Hook shot. Hook shot's the word I was looking for. We had the fear tether, we wanted to stick with her and make sure so that she couldn't get away, and then that fear tether went through, so we flash in front, we get the knock up on us, the fear goes through, beautifully done. Beautiful Nocturne play, and normally, you know, if the Jarvan dies here, and the top lane is prime and juicy and gankable, you can go straight for this. You don't need to go Krugs first. He only went Krugs first to sync up better with his top laner, so very good use of, you know, ganking jungle technique as well as his farming jungle technique. This is really, really nice so far from the Shadow of Mordor himself. Now, we have here Yasuo, the Java. Did you see him? This guy's pathing, man, completely monkey. Yasuo gets the 6th first, obviously, on the Akali. Lux helped Rum to get that kill. We're going to push up here. Jarvan probably going to look for some pressure here. Nocturne's on the Wolf camp. Will be much closer to 6 than Jarvan. He's going to shadow in here, fully expecting the Jarvan to do exactly that. This is actually very good anticipation play in jungle intuition. See how we're shadowing this? Which is, of course, what you want to do as an Umbra enjoyer. Here we go. Let's go see if we can do some counter junglings, because we haven't seen the Jarvan aside from this. Okay, we're just shadowing this now. Hey, look, his Raptors are up, level 5. We'll take those. You know, and let's just actually have a look here. Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. So, he did his blue side, went down, got seen. Does get the gank off though. Now Nocturne is very, very close to 5 after yeeting those Raptors. Hits his Q. All right, what's going to happen here? We have 3 points in Q at this point. We're going for the fear. Do we really care about the minions at this stage? We cut back a little bit. We hit 6 from it, so we can just ult and kill the Jarvan. Keep going, keep auto-attacking. We get the passive proc as well. Queen's applause, please. And rest in peace. Now, of course, King's applause, as it were. To my fellow Commonwealth existers. Now, you know, this is just a great turn. And that's why you're seeing that attack speed. Because remember, attack speed growth is such an important thing. And attack speed for a champion like Nocturne is such an important thing. When you have a pickaxe, a lot of AD in your itemization first. You know, people will say, well, what about lethal tempo? But now it can be a lot more viable to go Conqueror. Hey, bot lane's winning. But of course, Nocturne will have to carry the game. He will do the most damage. He will have the highest KP by far. So winning bot lanes for me are a paradox sometimes. It's like you want them to win, but then they go ahead and over-push an int at some point. So we fall back to our red side here in the meantime. Camilla's now level 6 because of our beautiful gank. It's so easy sometimes, isn't it? I mean, jungling is easy. Look at this. We didn't even do some. We just did a little sneaky counter jungling because we saw him go down. We would have tracked that he did his blue side from CS tracking. You kind of think, well, where is he? Is he on this? Is he on this? No, he's wasting his time. Okay, fine with me. Absolutely fine with me. I'll steal your Raptors. Oh, he cut behind me and ganked mid lane. Let me just kill both of you. Really a great example of Nocturne's power curve and that attack speed plus AD combination. Now, in the meantime, Jarvan does show bottom here. Excuse me. This is now... Oh, I lost myself for a second. Excuse me. I thought we were blue team. So she goes to clear the wards. This is always risky. If you've been counter jungle, see, as a support, I like to ward this. But if I don't know where the jungler is and I think he's invading, I typically don't clear it when I'm that low. But you couldn't have necessarily known. Good grief, lost myself there. So, nice little capitalistic kill there by the Jarvan. Steals the blue back as well. And now, of course, we know that the bottom scuttle most likely is going to be yeeted. So we clear this and we're going to have a look. Can we steal this first? No, we cannot, but we see it die and float. So we're chasing down with our Lux. We do have ult available in 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Let's just go straight into his face. Let's yeet that away, whatever we can, and bounce. I would hit this too as well. Thank you. Oh, see, this is how I support. Like the Lux, I will move around with my jungler and make these plays, you know, so the jungler can be more efficient, focus on what he needs to focus on, and I'll handle the vision and the tracking. If they follow, it's always good. Jarvan goes straight up to the Herald again. Really, I don't know the player on the Jarvan, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was like a Shaco or an Evelyn main. There is just no concern whatsoever about vision pathing and vision behaviors, which is why those champions are unique, but they don't give you transferable skills in terms of pathing, right? That how you have to think about getting around vision if he's... Oh, that is filthy. And very funny too. Hilarious. Now go steal his blue. Go steal his blue. Do it. Do it. Well, I mean, we got our blue back. We don't know what Camille is, I suppose, but at this point, like, I feel like if you're so strong, you can beat people 1v1, you can always yeet some buffs out. I think in the lower elo game, use this opportunity to really go and look to see what's available, and maybe snack a camp or two and get out, fall back to the side, and then reset. Now you can go bottom side and so on. Because the denial of the enemy jungler is going to be huge. It's a lot more risky in a higher elo game where, well done, where, you know, the laners will rotate and things like this. But in a, say, diamond and below game, really look to extend this lead with that counter jungling. Because remember, +4, +8 for you is -4, -8 for them. We're still up 2 levels. Like, we don't need to do it, but you know what I mean. It's a good thing to keep that pressure up to make sure that they're denied. And then, of course, he would just be forced to hold mid lane and go bottom side, and you would track that and counter gank that as well. We do use it for just a little bit of tower infusion. I think we don't want to elevate the game state just yet. We're enjoying ourselves a good time. Let's back to base here. Now, you can go Aximark. I did have a game with an Aximark that I thought, hey, let's look at it, but it wasn't as clean as this, and there was a little bit of mid lane gap, like not like this mid lane gap, like legitimate 7-2 and 0-7 gap. So it kind of compromises jungling when you have such an extensive prio that you can abuse. But again, abusing prio, huge. If you haven't, use it. And if you don't abuse it, it's on you. And I think a lot of people will have winning lanes and they just don't abuse that prio ever. And then they complain that they threw or that other lanes were losing too hard. And it's always nonsense, isn't it? I mean, there's always something you can do. We do Grump, just go and have a cheeky look here. Obviously, there's a scuttle we want to snack. We have this. We do have ult available, so we can shadow this easily. Don't finish your wolf camp. See, he's dragging and shadowing, dragging and shadowing. He's not finishing the wolf camp first. Here we go. Shadow of Mordor is brought forth. And we have here the Fear Tether into Crater. Then he flashes into the Crater to try and keep it, and then Jarvan flashes out of his own damn Crater. Keeps the Crater up so that Akali can go in. Bait and switch a little bit. Bait and switch a little bit. But hey, that's fine. I would have preferred if the Yasuo went towards us a little bit instead of up, and then maybe didn't put himself in such a tight situation. But you know what? Our mid laner's fall is our experiences and gold gain. So we'll enjoy that one. We have here a very low misfortune and luck. So this concerns me just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm paranoid. My tracking is good, but I always anticipate the most random stuff sometimes. I'm like thinking, okay, my bot lane's overstaying here. He shouldn't be there at all. And then he shows up, you know. And of course, you can counter jungle and gank and do other things, but I'm always worried they're going to stay here and try and take this, which I think in a lower elo game they would. So this for me, see, like, yeah. So for me, I hope for your sake, your bottom lanes do the same thing. Here we go. There it is. Yeah. I had the jungler cannot ignore it. When he's 1, 3, and 2 and rushing Kempunk Chainsword, what are you stopping from healing? What Morello's, what grievous wounds are you applying of any value? What is this doing? I'm getting a headache. No, stop rushing this bloody item. It's great value for sure, but like over a mythic? No, man. Are there other items you can go? Yes. Like why? I mean, just go Eclipse Jarvan and one-shot people. I mean, oh. But wait, let's go on ult. Yeah, there you go. Band has killed Samuel Rodriguez, and we're going to kill that ADC because, of course, we need to execute ADCs with extreme prejudice. Well done. Obviously, use your ult off cooldown as much as you can, and then outside in roll. See, with Nocturne, the outside in roll applies to the laners, right? You can come on down here, snipe him, snack him, and fall back to whatever's here, and then fall back to your cams, because you can basically launch yourself using proper propulsion systems and kill the enemy bottom lane very, very easily. Most junglers would have to physically run here. I always like to shout out my Scion jungle friends, you know, all three of you. I know you can do this as well, a little bit of a train lane gank, but outside in rule when it comes to bottom lane gankings, falling back to dragons and scuttles and then your jungle cams is much easier with champions like this. Now, our mid laner has elevated the game state officially by taking mid lane. We've taken the bottom lane. Here we've fallen back to the blue side. That attack speed doing a lot of work for us. What are we at right now? 1.52. Pretty solid. We do have the TV committed by the enemy mid laner, and this is the risk, you see. This is the risk. The bottom lane overstays, doesn't recognize the enemy mid has been dead and lost their mid lane tower. They overcommit here instead of falling back and resetting, moving the chess pieces around the map, and they die. But can Nocturne change the tides of war? The answer is yeah. Yeah. And of course, Strikebreaker giving Giga Slows, using our W just to try and stop any sort of Kali shenanigans, let's just call that. And swish double kill again, moving down and cutting up, seeing the map, and then of course abusing the disrespect. Push the wave, push the wave, push the wave. Get yourself a lot of experience. We're up 2 levels, beautifully done. Make sure you get that cannon wave. And of course you can kill the ward, but if we see this, we don't want to kill the ward so that they see us. We can fly on in with a nice big boom ult. Lux hits her ult as well. Jarvan tries to EQ away, but the flea goes through, and he just stands still in an auto attack. Well, then do against you. Now, obviously, we are going to go into the Black Cleave for this build. In this game, we have spoken about the Aximark effect, and that's definitely something I think people with Giga Snowball leads can use. The win rate is good, but being a little more bruisery is great because you have so much damage now. You're so far ahead. You have so much shutdown. No one is going to be able to actually deal with you at all. They're not going to be able to kill you. So building more HP here will really, really help you just become really survivable, a big survivor. But you do have a Yasuo, right? You do have Misfortune. So you three combined will benefit from that armor shred, which is always what we want. And when they have a Jarvan and they have a Camille who's going to build death stuns and maybe some tanky atomization, then that can help a lot as well. But even against the squishier people, I mean, armor shred, magic penetration, yada yada, always good. You know, it gives you a pseudo true damage effect depending on who you're playing and the game state and how much damage you have. Right, of course, ultimate is up. Let's see what the cooldown is at this point. Rank 2 with ultimate hunter, 52 seconds with Black Cleaver and Stride Breaker. Camille is now down 2 levels. We're going to make sure we use that Stride Breaker active to get the slow, and then of course we're going to fear her, and we're going to say, listen, why would you flash? Because my E's up already. That's actually quite insane. This. 6.35 seconds, all right? That's the base. That's the base cooldown now with the amount of haste we have, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. The low cooldown here as well, 4.23 seconds. You're so sticky now. You know, you've got the Q to chase down, you've got the fear coming up twice within a fight. It's really, really good for these post-durability changes where these fights are a little bit longer than the last time Nocturne was a bit more meta, and that's something we really have to keep track of when you're fighting him, you know, especially when he's fed. You don't really want to fight him, you just cannot. And that's what's nice about attack speed growth and passive benefits, is they're just so subtle. But they can have a very nice and strong effect on a farming and on a fighting and on a snowballing. And that's the kind of stuff you want, because remember, when you snowball, it's not just the gold that you get, it's the experience that you get that gives you levels, because with levels comes bonus stats, comes more stats. Even if you don't spend, you still have that raw advantage. Some champions scale better than others in terms of their raw stats, obviously, thinking like, you know, even if Kayle had no items, if, you know, no one had any items and Kayle, you know, went to 16, she just scaled better than almost all of us, right? So keeping track of those things is important as well. Yasubi splitting on the bot lane. No one's in the mid lane. You could look to cut it and push it if you wanted to, considering Misfortune's not really in this game, but I do kind of like shadowing the top lane here, going for an investigation. We see multiple people on the bottom lane. They should be able to handle their business. Let's have a look. All right, we have the flash done there. Yasuo's going to try and go in. They just walked into him. They just walked into him. See, Nocturne's going to try and ult this now, I think. Let's have a look. Ooh, they did kill Yasubi, so they do get the shutdown. But here we go. Keep vision. Keep vision. Minions. Here we go. And we arrive. I was going to do a Nazgul scream, but I feel like, one, that would wake up my baby and annoy my wife. And two, would create a lot of feedback. So that is a noise I'm quite proud to say I can make, but I'm not allowed to, to do it for... I need to go into the forests and record it at some point, and then I'll just sort of play back in these moments every time Nocturne ults. Or maybe one time. Every time would be a bit much. But hey, anyway, we're getting distracted. 12:05, Dragon spawning, Herald activated, pushing that tower down. Would like to see a bit more of a power use of it, but, you know, if the cooldown's expiring and we just need to use it, as long as you're busting a tower with it, that's absolutely fine. There you go. Saving his ultimate, good rock. Good rock. Very good rock. Now we can fall back to the Dragon. Misfortune is now an assassin, apparently. I mean, you've been hotfixed, darling, so I don't think you did nearly as much damage as you think. Let's go back, fall back to the Dragon. Yeah, you're still pushing the mid lane. This is good now. But the threat of his ultimate is the game changer, you see. That hasn't gone away. The difference is once we actually arrive in the fight and once we're actually fighting people, that's where we really feel that benefit. So it's all very well having, you know, low cooldowns on your ultimate and having high AD damage when you actually hit it. But if you can't sustain a fight afterwards, then what good are you? And now we can. That's why he is very good to play. Our team are grouping without us, which usually makes me a little bit nervous. I got a hiccup, actually, I'm so nervous about it. But it is a Malphite with the Yasuo, so maybe. Although, let's be honest, if it was a Malphite Yasuo in our games, he would just ult the Zillion, who would ult himself. They would waste both their ults on the Zillion's ult, and then they would lose the fight, and then say Nocturne Y in base. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. They just can't help it. But again, shadow, 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 always path inward. So if you wanted to farm Krugs into Raptors, you can do that. Here we go, just ult the backline, they have that dealt with. Make sure we get the slow, the Zillion ult goes through, keep chasing the Zillion because Caitlyn's gonna respawn here, we hit another Q. We're getting slowed, we're getting slow, we're getting slow, but it doesn't really do anything. Towers don't do anything. They don't do anything because we have the good item, Frozen Heart. Why did it sound like Brom? Brom is here to help. We have here the Stride Breaker, Black Cleaver, and Frozen Heart. We can go into the Executioner's Calling. Again, what are we anti-healing here? I understand Akali has some... What is... You know, what is this? Anyway, so we have here definitely a Shaco or an Evelyn main. No question in my mind. Anyway, so the Akali, yeah, she heals, but... And yeah, the Camille's gonna heal, but are we really gonna get a lot of benefit from this? I mean, you're better off just going GA, you know, and making sure that even if something does happen, you don't die. You won't die. You won't. But even if something does happen, you can't because you respawn. And that the BF Sword Spike is so damn big on Nocturne, you know? So I feel like this is definitely a bit of a waste. But let's see. We had, what, 85 or something, 35 or something, health denied, healing denied. So let's see what this is at the end of the game, just through a fight or two. But I don't think it's going to be meaningful at all. We do hit the Q here, which means we have the trail passive. We use our W just to avoid any sort of coin flip CC. Yasuo collapses on the backline here. Nocturne can ult to go back in with him. Quickly, kill the person who doesn't have the Zillion ult. Try and leave the person with the Zillion ult to not die. But if you do kill them, they are stuck in place, which means you can chain CC them afterwards and eradicate those souls. And then you can go ahead and do Baron. Could always just push down here, but I feel like because the wave states are really badly mismanaged in this particular game, using these 20 to 30 seconds, it's better just to go take the Baron. It will allow you a better push. If you have good minion wave push, then look to take 2 inhibs, and you can obviously fall back to this if the death timers are long enough, or you can go back to base and then contest again, wait for the minion waves to push, and then secure the Baron afterwards. So those are the kind of the 2 situations you're looking at in this particular game state. But the Jarvan is really causing me some distress right now, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of distress, actually. Here we go, we're going to do another kill. Oh, and he connected, and he flashed, but it didn't matter because he got swiped by the Strike Breaker, and of course, the passive on the Umbra Blades. You want to say Umbral Glaives? Like, there's more than one item. Although, I mean, according to my Pike the other day, you can buy 6 of them. I don't know what he was protesting, but he bought 6 of them. Anyway, so absolutely huge game overall for this Nocturne, showing you the power of the buffs. Enemy healing reduced 60. So I understand the raw stats are great, but really, you know, there's other items you could go. Death Stones, more for Mortius, Guardian Angel. You don't really need the HP right now, so think about those things, but hopefully you enjoyed and learned something. Don't forget Zara GG guys, linked below. Patreon coaching available, linked below as well. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial, and I'll make sure that I never see this Jarvan again.